Let me ask you something. Have you noticed how much groceries have gone up this last year? Really the last 2 years, but this year particularly. This is Dan, and this is senior survival tips. And I want to go over a couple things that might help you. The grocery store with fuel, gas, and we'll even talk about a 6-month emergency fund that you need to have in case some of these things come up. Again, we've noticed, all of us, how much things have gone up. And when you're on a fixed income, that makes it harder. Because when you were working, you pretty much kind of spent what you want, even though you may have had a budget, but you could go out and buy things where you can't do it once you're on a fixed income. Rather be just Social Security you're living on, that can be difficult just as an income. Or if you have maybe a 401 that you saved through over the years, or you have savings. And that's what they're there for, to save. But sometimes you have to dip into those in order to meet emergencies that come up. We'll talk about having an emergency fund first, because I think that's the most important. Again, the reason I say a 6-month emergency fund, because things happen around the house. It happens to your car, electrical, plumbing. There are just things that pop up that you have to be ready for. So if you can sock a little money away each month, even if you have it left over in your Social Security, sock it away for an emergency fund. Because unless you have family or somebody can help you, or you have to go out and get a loan, which you don't want to be in debt once you're retired. Because that debt can really hurt you when your Social Security doesn't go up, but you're still going to make that payment. So guys, these are just some of the things that I think are important when you retire. Or if you're getting ready to retire, these are some of the things that you have to really pay attention to. So whether you retired 62, 65, 70, whatever. I retired at 70. I knew I was ready. I was in the pest control industry for 40 years, and I owned my company for over 20. And I finally sold it to my son, and my grandkids work for him now. Company's doing fine. But I knew at age 70 it was time for me to make a change in my life. I was spending less time with my wife because I was growing the business. And those are some of the things that you really need to spend more time, quality time, with your spouse, with your kids and grandkids. You just have to stop and smell the roses, as my grandparents used to tell me when I was younger. Because you can amass all the wealth and money that you want to, but at the end of the day, when you leave this earth, it's gone too. You may have helped your kids get through hard times. There's just different things, but at the end of the day, as I mentioned, you ain't taking a thing with you. So the emergency fund is very important. And let's talk about grocery shopping. How do you guys grocery shop? Leave it down in the comments for me. Do you have it delivered? Do you pick it up at the store? Do you order it online, then pick it up? A lot of people do that. Now, we have 3 main stores that we go to, which is Walmart, Kroger, and Aldi. And at the end of each month, I will do a review, a price comparison review on my channel of those 3 stores. Did prices go up in the store? Did they go down? Did they stay the same? Where is it cheaper to buy a certain item that week? So that's what you have to really think about as far as prices. Who's got what on sale? Now, my meat, typically, I will only buy one thing from Walmart, and that's if they've got ground beef. It's still probably the most less expensive than it is in any other store. But I used to pay like $23 for a 10-pound, 73% ground beef, and now I'm paying $43 for the same thing. So in 2 to 2.5 years, it's almost doubled. Price of meat has certainly gone through the roof. So I guess when you go grocery shopping, you have to think of one thing. They put those aisles that's got all the junk food and the snack food. You got to go through them aisles to get to the back of the store to get the milk, maybe the bread, or maybe you need eggs. But they are certainly going to put that stuff right in your way. That's to get you to buy it, obviously. So we've learned now to take a list to the grocery store if we go, for the most part. And we try to stay within that list and not buy stuff that we really don't need. We just want those. So a shopping list is important. Make all your shopping in one day. Now check around at Walmart, Aldi's, Kroger. They send digital coupons out. Check to see what their prices are that week, because you may be surprised how much money you can save. That could save you from $60 to $80 a month just by shopping smart, using the digital coupons. Sometimes Kroger will send once a month the coupons that they know we purchase automatically. Once you put that digital card, once they give you that Plus card and they scan that, they know exactly what you buy every month. So you take advantage of those. Now, what they're doing, I noticed in the grocery stores now, and Walmart is pretty much transitioned over to this, they have digital things right below the item. They can change that in a heartbeat from the back of that store. They can change it electronically as you're shopping for it. So those are some of the things you got to pay attention to. So I don't like that kind of shopping where they have those, but there's anything we can do about it. So basically, again, now if you can find a local butcher or somebody that maybe been around, I have one store's been around since the 1940s, and that's where I buy my meat primarily. Not anything else but meat, because they have good quality meat, and it's usually at a reasonable price, and I'm also supporting a local store or a local butcher. So I think those things are kind of important. So now canned goods may be cheaper at Kroger one week, it could be cheaper at Aldi's the next, or maybe even Walmart. Typically Walmart don't run, they may discount some stuff out, but they don't give coupons out, they don't have specials. The price is the price when you walk in the store. And I kind of like that format. I wish kind of Kroger's and Aldi's would do that as well, but you know, they do their own thing and Walmart does their own. And I hate the self-checkout. I just, at my age of 74, my wife and I do not like it. So a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. I think eventually they may be doing away with them because of loss prevention. They're losing a lot of stuff through that. So I just wish they'd go back to the cashiers. Now, of course, they say it costs more to have a cashier than it is to have those machines. But again, those machines you could be running that stuff through that line, and that machine could change that price on you before you even get it from one end of the belt to the next, all digitally. So keep that in mind when you're shopping. Again, groceries, I'd say that on an average, we probably spend, just for two of us now, we probably spend $400 to $600 a month, maybe $800. I try to track it as much as I can, but sometimes, you know, when you're retired and you're really not on a tight budget, I don't track it as close as I used to. But I do those price comparisons for you guys at the end of the month between the three stores, so I can help you on this channel to decide what's cheaper at one store. Now, every area is going to be different, but for the most part, they stay pretty consistent throughout the country, unless you live in Alaska or Hawaii or something like that. Maybe California, which is expensive for everything out there. So let me know where you guys shop. Walmart, Kroger, Aldi. Put it down in the comment section for me. Tell me what you do in order to save money that I have not discussed. Because these are some of the tips that we can help other seniors learn when they're grocery shopping. Again, if you can have it delivered or pick it up at the store, you're going to save money. Now, Kroger charges, you have to buy at least $35 before you can pick it up at the store without a fee. Now, you can also join a monthly plan they have. I forget, I don't know how much it is a month. I've never done it. Well, they will deliver your groceries right to your doorstep. Again, that service is great for seniors with disabilities, seniors that don't drive anymore, people with disabilities. That service is there for a reason. And a lot of people get lazy too. We don't like our groceries being handled. Now, we did during the thing back in 2020. But we had it delivered. I remember when we had it delivered, we was washing our bags. We had it delivered at the door. And I remember washing the bags, the outside of the bags, before we even undid the groceries. That was, to me, it was so dumb. But we didn't know where that was going back in that time. So, but you will save money if you have it delivered or you pick it up, because you're not walking through that store. And those aisles, they want to catch you. I call it catch-it miles. And they put that stuff there for a reason. So yeah, that can be the most expensive or most important thing that you do that costs you probably the most is groceries. And then if you still have a mortgage when you're retired, fortunately we do not. We don't have car payments. We don't have any debt. So if you got any debt going into retirement, think twice before you quit working, unless you have to quit working, or maybe the company just let you go. And at our age, again, I'm 74, but I've seen a lot of people lose their jobs when they come close to retirement age, 60, 64. They get rid of them people. So that's a terrible thing to happen. It happened to me back in 2003. I'd been with this company for 20 years, and I had back surgery. And the day I walked back in the door, they terminated my employment because they said I did 2 or 3 wrong. You're not going to find a national company, and I won't mention the company's name, but they're going to get rid of you if they want to get rid of you. So to me, I'm sure it was age and what it was going to cost them in the future through liability of sicknesses, whatever. So at that point, I started my own company, and 20 years later, I built a really good company in my industry. It was in the pest control industry. And then I turned my company over to my son in 2020, and my grandkids work for him now, so there's my legacy. But when I retired, it changes things a lot. Finances first and foremost. What do you do with your time when you retire? We didn't discuss that yet. How do you stay busy? Do you just sit on lay on your couch because you deserve that after all those years of working? Maybe eating ho-hos and potato chips? I see it happen. I see seniors doing that, and they let life happen to them. You have to make things happen in your life. There's one thing I've always said: a body in motion stays in motion, a body at rest stays at rest. But I spent so many years, my last 20 years in the business, building the company, that I lost focus of what life importance really was. Spending more time with my spouse. We're working on 54 years of marriage, come up in May. She hasn't killed me yet. She's thought about it a couple times. But we've had a solid marriage over 54 years. I met my childhood sweetheart. One of these days I'll get her on camera, but it's going to take me some doing because she don't want to do it. So what do you do with your time? Do you volunteer? Do you have church activities? Me, I review e-bikes and e-trikes for seniors. That's what I do. I started riding 4 years ago on an e-bike I bought on Marketplace, and then I put 2,600 miles on that bike. I wore the tires out and the brakes and all that, and at that point I bought another e-bike, and then I started putting some YouTube videos up, me riding those at 70 years old. And before I knew it, companies were sending me e-bikes and e-trikes as a collaboration, and all I had to do was review them. And once I got done with what their contract said I needed to review them for, then I just sold them all locally. So that's kind of what I do now in retirement. I get a lot of good exercise doing this, riding my e-bikes and e-trikes. I do several videos for people. What to buy, if it's safe for them to ride, how high the step over is. Trikes, I think, are certainly more safer for seniors than e-bikes are. That's going to be another video that we'll go through. But those are some of the things that I do to stay busy. Let me know in the comment section, what do you do to stay busy? What do you do to fill your time? Because once you retire, that's all day. It's not just 9 or 10 or 14 hours away from home. It's all day. So you really have to fill that time, because when you retire, you just don't want to sit around and think about the mortality of when you die. And you know, the older you get, you think about those things. I'm not denying that. But I don't focus on it either. Because the good Lord, when He said it's your turn, it's your turn. So let's talk about gas. Ain't much we can do about that right now with what's going on in Iran. Because that's going to stay where it's at until this gets settled. So all I can say is buckle up, because it's not done going up. Hopefully it don't go up crazy. But I can remember back in the 1970s with the gas shortage we had, and you can only buy gas on certain days. Let's hope it never gets to that point. So hopefully this little thing with Iran gets settled sooner than later, for sure. And then I want to also talk about medical cost. May have Medicare, which most of us do, but you still got copays on that. Even doctor visits, depending on which plan you have. So you have to have an emergency fund set up for that. Because I went to the hospital about a month ago when I wrecked on my e-bike and I crashed in the snow and bruised some ribs and had a hairline fracture, and I had to go to the hospital to make sure I didn't puncture any lungs. I knew they couldn't do anything about it. All you can do is rest and time. It takes 4 to 6 weeks to get over rib injuries. And you folks that have had them, let me know down in the comments section. If you had rib injuries, you can tell people how it hurts. You can't breathe, can't take a deep breath, you can't sleep, you can't cough, you can't sneeze. It all hurts. I'm getting much better now. I'm almost into 4 weeks now, so I'm getting over that. But I still had a copay at the emergency room. I had to pay out $130 out of pocket. So if you're on a fixed income like Social Security, that comes right out of your budget. That's huge. So if you've got a $2,000 check you get every month, there's 10% of it, 20% of it is coming out of your budget right away. So you have to think about those things. But if you can, be totally out of debt once you retire. Because utilities are still going up. There's not much we can do about that either, except do the small things in your life. We're keeping doors shut. Keep that temperature down in the summer a couple degrees, and up or down in the winter in a couple degrees, and keep it up in the summer a couple degrees. That'll help. Keep your blinds and curtains shut in the wintertime. That stops a lot of cold drafts coming through. Hopefully you can have newer windows once you retire, and new doors where you don't have leaks around those, because that can add up very quickly, especially if you're on electric heat or natural gas for that reason. So those are some of the things you have to pay attention to. Keep the doors closed in the house in the rooms you're not using. We keep our temperature at 67 in the wintertime, and we stay very comfortable. Years ago, I got up under my crawl space and I insulated all the flooring under the crawl space. I had blue insulation, more insulation in the attic. So we were able to, and I knew I was going to retire, so that's some of the things I could still do in my early 60s, which I wouldn't begin to get in my crawl space at 74. I could still do it, but I don't want to. So those are some of the little things you can do. If you can find a space heater that can help you a little bit and keep your temperature down in a given room, like a buddy heater, those are very important. Buddy heaters do a good job. You can run a line outside to a propane tank, and you can seal around that gap where the hose goes. So that can help you if you run out of, your electricity goes out. Fortunately, I was able to buy an all-house generator for my house. So when the power goes out, which it does quite frequently here, that generator takes over. And within 30 seconds, I power my house, my garage, everything I need. So if you guys can afford to get one of those and it's in your budget, I recommend it. Shut that off. So anyway, those are some of the things I wanted to talk about. We'll get into some other things on some other videos, and we'll talk about what we can do to save in certain areas of our budget. Just little things. But little things add up. Pennies add up to dollars very quickly. So let me know what you guys do to save money on groceries. Like I said, do several trips in one day. If you're going to go to 3 or 4 different stores, do it in one day, because you're going to save gas. That's very important. And definitely have a budget, have a shop grocery list before you go. Know what you're going to buy. Again, there's delivery services. You can pick it up at the store. That'll save you money. But there are little things in life that we can navigate through to save money, and I will help you as much as I can as a senior, since I've been retired now almost 6 years, and boy, where did the time go. As they say, time gets faster when you get older. It most certainly does. So anyway, I want you guys to share, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll see you on the next Senior Survival Tips.